Hello, everyone, and welcome to League Review. I'm your host, William, and today we are talking Week 2 of the LPL. We've had quite a crazy week in the first week back in professional League of Legends all around the world. But let's go over our recap first, which is our predictions that we made last week. We actually finished a solid 10-4. Our only losses were the very big surprise of Estar beating not only Rogue Warriors, but beating Fun Plus Phoenix as well. Sunning letting me down another split, like always. And Rogue Warriors initially were the team that I had wrong on the first game and then wrong on the second game. And I got the 1-1 right, but in the wrong games. And then finally it was Dominius Gaming letting me down today against Vici Gaming. But that was a I would say it was a good series. It was a bad series gameplay-wise, but it was a good series between two teams that played poorly, if that makes sense. But yeah, we are now 10-4 on the year, which for Idol, who I know isn't here yet, is 71% pick rate, which we got much, much better than before. Before we used to be at we would always start a year very bad. Like the beginning of a year is always the toughest to pick because you just don't know. You just don't know what teams are going to perform how they're expected to, and which teams are going to perform how they're not expected to. Especially like Estar is a perfect example of that. Like Estar performed out of their minds this week in beating both Rogue Warriors and the defending champions of Fun Plus Phoenix. And Fun Plus Phoenix themselves went 0-2 to start the year. So 10-4, I will take that. That's the 71% we had last year. We finished the year at 73%, so we're trying to go for 75 this year. It's a tough goal, though. It's a very tough goal. Anyway, the biggest story I do want to talk about will probably be the title of this podcast, and probably the biggest story of all of the LPL so far, outside of Estar, is Fun Plus Phoenix going 0-2. And the shocking, did the Khan experiment already fail? Like the signing of Khan, did it already fail? When they did sign Khan, I actually wanted to see if I had that here. I'll pull it up real quick on my phone. But I did make a point about it. I believe when whoever broke the news, I don't remember which reporter it was. But I didn't like the signing, personally. I was one of the people that did not like the signing at all. I felt like the Gimgoon dynamic. Fun Plus Phoenix as a team last year, if you watched it all, basically from about week 7, week 8 of Summer Split, I said Fun Plus Phoenix is going to win Worlds, and then once they won the LPL, I said not only are they going to win Worlds, they're going to go undefeated at Worlds. They're going to go 11-0. Lost the first game. Kind of cursed them there. My bad. But they did improve throughout the tournament and kind of just destroyed everyone. Because in my opinion, the Season 9 meta was completely solved by Fun Plus Phoenix. They solved it perfectly with the dynamic between TN, Doinby, and Crisp. And the amount of roaming and just ganks that they made as a group of those three, they spoon-fed their baby, LWX. They spoon-fed him so many kills so he'd always pop off. Doinby would get kills from that, and he'd lose farm, so people would be like, oh, he doesn't farm well, he's not good against his, a lane opponent, he's always down farm, but he was getting kills for his opponent or his teammates, or he's getting assists or kills for himself, and he was always just creating so much pressure on the map that didn't matter that he wasn't farming that much. Same with TN was just a beast last year. That dynamic changes because they were able to do that due to Gimgoon being the estranged uncle of the family that you don't see until like maybe once every Christmas, You'll see him then, you're like, oh, hey, and that was Gimgoon. You never saw him, just sitting under his tower in top lane. Oh, and then he showed up to a fight, and he did really well. Like, everyone loved him, Now you have this brand new top laner, Khan, who, in Khan's defense, he has played very well so far. It has not been him. But the team dynamic has definitely messed up. That they messed up with perfection, and that's the issue that I have. Is Khan requires a lot of resources up top. Tien before could just be bot lane with Crisp or mid lane with Doinby. Either one, they all three just roamed together, got kills like crazy. Now Tien has to actually go top and spend time and resources helping up top lane. And unfortunately, that is kind of messing with their flow, I think, which is a fixable situation. I don't want to say, I might say, like, might in the thumbnail be like, is Fun Plus Phoenix done? But I think this is a very fixable situation. I think Fun Plus Phoenix is thanking the heavens that they have a 2-week break here, which Chinese New Year, which kind of sucks because we will not have an LPL podcast like this for 2 weeks or so. And but I really am worried with the dynamic if Tien and because to be honest, it's been Tien, Crisp, and Doimby. They have not played up to their standards that they played last year. Khan has actually been playing just fine, like especially Tien. Spoiler alert for later on the podcast, but Tien has had a very bad week. But I think it's mostly because you've changed the dynamic of the team. And we will see if 2 more weeks of practice helps them adjust and get proper use of it. Or if it continues and they lose this upcoming game, who I don't remember who they're facing off the top of my head. I'll tell you, you'll find out later in my predictions. But if they lose that series and start the season 0-3, you might see Gimgoon come back in and see if they can just recapture that. Because even though they're playing in a Season 9 style, I think their style actually adjusts to a Season 10 level. Where Season 10, dragons are the most important thing, by far. Early game and, like, you can get the Rift Herald, sure, but I always consider dragon control right now is the number one objective to win a game. If you have dragon control between your jungle, mid, and bot lane, you're going to win, like, 80% of your games with solo queue if you're dominating those 3 lanes. Top lane doesn't matter. And the fact that the river between mid and bot lane has been Fun plus Phoenix's territory. That is how they play the game. I just thought they were going to just blow people out even more so than what they did last year because of that. But because they've changed their dynamic or they're trying to adjust to the new teammate and the new how the team works. Every team, even just removing one piece of a team and putting another one in there, that changes the team dynamic completely. I'm curious if that will continue on or they will be able to successfully adjust. I want to lean on them as successfully adjusting because they're actually a really strong team and just a core of players, but it looked really bad, and we'll go over that a little bit in our match review, which is gonna have to move here. Our match review first, because China, if you've watched last year, China's match history unfortunately goes to a Chinese website which is not secure and has attacked me with multiple Trojans before that luckily my antivirus is blocked. So we can't use the match history for China, but we can use it for every other league, which is very weird. I don't know why that is a thing. But so the match review is going to be on Reddit for some of this and on Google for the other. Google does not supply this one, but the first game was between Invictus Gaming and Fun plus Phoenix, and Invictus Gaming, like we predicted, popped off. This I didn't have any worries for FPX after this game. This game gave me no worries. It was the Estar game more specifically that really worried me. Tien did have a pretty bad game in game number 1. IG did end up winning. Ning also went 0-7 on Kiana, which was the classic Ning, classic Ning. But the Shy on Aatrox 11-6, he actually, even though his numbers were only he had 6 deaths in this game, he actually was outperforming most people in all of these games. He was getting camped 2 to 3 man ganked constantly, and he was just making it work all the time. Puff and Southwind also made their season debut on IG, and they also impressed greatly. Southwind's Braum was just disgusting, and Puff on the Senna, he scaled eventually. They actually had a very poor level 2 in this game, where they burned both their flashes and everything by level 2 and had the back, and it was like, oh my god, this is all of my prediction of IG winning through Puff and Southwind, it's out the window. But after that, they recovered and actually had a really good series after that. But yeah, game number 2 was actually kind of a throw. I'm going to check this match history. Where does this go? No, it still goes there. We're going to exit out now. I was hoping that match history might do it through Reddit, but it doesn't work. But yeah, there was kind of a throw by Fun plus Phoenix. They actually had the Infernal Soul, but even with the Infernal Soul, they lost the Baron and the Elder Drake. And once you lose an Elder Drake is one of the riskiest things right now, I think, is almost... For as much as dragon control as you could have, I've noticed in this week of the LPL alone, teams that get the soul, especially Infernal Soul, which is one of the weaker souls in my opinion, you're letting an objective that can win the game even if you're 7 to 8k down. If you have Elder Drake, that covers a 7 to 8k gold gap, I believe, which is the 20% execute. So putting that there's way too many teams making that a 50-50 because even they're used to the old Elder Drake, I guess, or teams just haven't adapted to just how powerful Elder Drake is now. And there a lot of teams are really getting Elder Drake stolen from them or like a 50-50 on them. And it's really risky considering you could have such a big gold lead and you just blow it completely with that. And then, yeah, so game number 2, though. IG lost to FunPlus Phoenix. So, like, really, FunPlus Phoenix, the first 2 games, Khan even won MVP. So, like I said, like, Khan's been... Like, there's a problem with the dynamic. It's not Khan, though. Khan has changed the dynamic, but he's played very well. So, it's a really tough scenario, you know what I mean? And it's not the best scenario they're in, but Khan popped off on the Fiora, which he does. The Fiora is by far one of his best champions. The Shy did not have a good Aatrox game, though he was camped pretty hard again. I will say that. Ning had a terrible Qiyana game. Ning missed so many ultimates on Qiyana, it was absurd. I'm very concerned with why IG started Ning in this game. Like, Summer Split should have been the transition to Lian. They brought Lian in the summer. He played better than Ning, but he had a lot of rookie mistakes, especially in Worlds. You can tell his nerves were really killing him. So this is the perfect opportunity to give him a full split to develop, calm those nerves, calm those rookie... He's going to make rookie mistakes every now and then, but that's okay. Like, because you have a full split to work them out. You're not in crunch time. Like IG essentially did what TSM did in NA when they removed their jungle at the end of some split, and then it just everything fell apart. Kind of what IG did as well, but they were able to carry through with it. Yeah, Puff and Salpham. I wanted... This was so close to being play of the game. It was the very end of this game. No, sorry, that was second game. That was game number 2. Game number 3, sorry. The very end of this game number 3, which we'll go into, because FunPlus Phoenix kind of just crushed. 30-minute win. Doinbe's Mordekaiser, 9-3. He just crushed people at Barons. It was gross. And, yeah. Also, Ryan did mention that he thinks that for the first time ever, Elder Drake is actually better than Baron. Absolutely. Elder Drake is so much better than Baron right now. It is absurd. Like, it makes a difficult choice for me because I always see these teams taking the souls, and I'm like, okay, that's great. If you're like... To me, it's tough to say. If you are in a neck-and-neck game, take the soul, in my opinion. Like, that is absolutely... You need every advantage you can because every team fights so 50-50. But it almost feels like... This is going to sound really weird, which I might be an idiot for saying this. But to me, just from watching week 1, teams that are up 7 to 8k gold that take a soul, especially Infernal Soul, which happened so much in the open. It was very weird. We had like almost 0 Ocean Souls and like very few Mountain Souls. We had a ton of Infernal and a ton of Cloud Souls. But they would take the soul when they're up 8k, which should seal a win, which you should. To be fair, you should. But if you don't seal the win in the next 5-6 minutes until the Elder Drake spawns, all of a sudden that team, they sneak that Elder Drake, they win the game. Like, you just blew everything. So, depending on how many Drakes they have, if they don't have any Drakes, I might lean so much as just give them a Drake there. Try and take a Baron while they're taking a Drake, or try and take other objectives. That way, the Elder Drake doesn't give them a possible win condition, which we saw, I believe, today between Top and EDG. Top actually, Elder Drake was on the board, or on the map, and they could have taken it, but instead they just went mid because Elder Drake was the only chance EDG had of winning that game. They're like, do not give them any chance there. Which is a little bit of a strange out-of-the-box idea. But it could be a scenario where you might want to do that. Ryan also said maybe it was like SKT, Blank, and Benji. And Ning goes in and goes crazy while Lian watches and reads the enemy jungle. That's true. They could definitely do that. I don't know. I just want Lian to like kind of get all the stage nerves out, like really develop. Because Ning has had a lot of bad games. He did not look good in either game. They put Lian in for the second game, or the third game. He looked pretty solid, but you had Puff and Southwind really pop off yet again on the Varus Braum. Like Puff's kiting in the final team fight to get a triple kill was insane. Doinbe's Diana did not look very good. It didn't look as well practiced as it could have been. And yeah, it was gross. You also had Rookie on Orianna, though, which is his bread and butter. So that's a tough matchup. But yeah. All around, it was a good win for IG. We kind of expected it. I didn't have a problem with how FunPlus Phoenix played pretty sloppy, but I didn't have too much of a problem how they played in general. I didn't have any red flags go up after this series. Let's just say that. Next, we had LGD versus LNG. This one was a little bit of. This game was much worse, or this series much worse. So we won't talk as in detail about this one as we did with Fun Plus Phoenix and IG. It's a much bigger game, but pretty much. Game number 1 went to LGD. LGD had the Aphelios. They gave it to Kramer. And this was the first time we had seen Aphelios in the LPL. I'm like, oh my god, why would you give it, especially to Kramer, one of LGD's best players and one of the best ADCs in the league. Just basically think a little bit worse than Mystic, in my opinion. Like how Mystic was on Team WE. Like he was on a bad team, but a good player that could carry some wins. So you gave him Aphelios. He goes 10-1. I'm like, what are you doing, LNG? Because I had noticed everyone else's power rankings had LNG much lower than me. Like they had them all between like 12th and 13th, and I had them at like 6, I believe. So it's like, this is maybe I way overranked this team. Maybe I felt too confident about having Flandre, XX, and Maple on the team, and Azuro. But yeah, the next game they were able to. They gave Kramer the Varus Braum, and they looked really bad. Kramer had a very bad series outside of that first Aphelios game, to be honest. It was very rough. Azura went 7-0 on the Misfortune. Misfortune is like super meta out of nowhere, in my opinion. She was meta, I guess, in the Demacia Cup, which I didn't watch too much, but like I was like, man, like this is I like the Misfortune right now, especially because it works with Leona and Nautilus, which are my 2 supports that I main. I probably have over 500k mastery in them combined. But like probably almost 600k now, Jesus. But they both do the same thing. They both go in, they don't come out, they stun you for a million years, and with Misfortune that works really well. Third game was another win for LNG to seal the series. They gave Kramer Aphelios, and Aphelios looked really bad. It was like a complete transition between popping off in game 1 to looking terrible in game 2, and kind of how we've seen it in pro play so far. We came into the pro thinking, man, Aphelios is going to be super busted. He has been high pick, high priority, but high pick, high ban is what I meant to say there. But like, he doesn't get a lot of wins right now. He doesn't look as absurdly broken as he does in solo queue. I think it's mostly that's kind of a match result analysis. Like I think he's still very strong. I think he's been played on pretty poor team. Like LGD's not a good team. They're not most likely not going to make the playoffs no matter what. Like I'll be stunned if the team makes playoffs. So he kind of looks poor on a poor team, and that kind of happened quite frequently this week. Ryan said Kramer is just trying to make Aphelios look balanced so Riot doesn't bury him. Yeah, it was one. If you go back and watch this game, you'll see Aphelios do pretty much absolutely nothing all game. It was not a good game at all. Yeah, and Ryan also mentioned that TN looks so lackluster that even a bad Ning and a Malayan wasn't a big difference. Yeah, like I believe Ryan said in the middle of the game was that if you turned nameplates off, you would have absolutely convinced Ryan and myself that TN was Ning. He just got caught out on wards like 5 to 6 times all series, and he didn't stop, by the way, in the next series. Next, we had game 1 between Estar and Rogue Warriors, and this was a pretty good win by Estar. Like, they started out 25-19, pretty bloody, but they pretty much, for the most part, had the game the whole time. Shousey, I think he was getting a little more flack than necessary from the shoutcasting team. I get it that he went deep. Maybe I'm a biased Leona main. I am a very biased Leona main. But Leona can't get out. Leona's no Alistair, no Rakan. She goes in. She's in. She doesn't remove herself from that fight. So he constantly started the engages that got kills, but then he died right away after. So he's always trading 1 for 1. But the announcer or the shoutcaster were always like, "Oh man, he's so deep." And so I'm like, yes, but no. Like he's too deep, sure, but at the same time, he got you the kill. He got the kill on Ziwuji on Misfortune. Like he got it on Haru, who was a little too far up on the Gragas. Like, he got those. He just died in the process, which is totally... As a Leona, you're supposed to die. You can't come out of a game looking pretty as Leona or Nautilus, in my opinion, for the most part. Unless you get really far ahead, you're going to have 5 to 6 deaths a game because that means you're doing something. You're not just staying back and, like, just staying far back and not utilizing your kit properly. If you're utilizing your kit to the fullest in a close game, you're going to die pretty much every team fight, but you're hoping to take 1, hopefully 2 people with you. Yeah, the rest of crying. Oof, man, crying. We'll talk about this guy in a bit. Another spoiler alert. Crying popped off on the Talia. Crying popped off all week long. This guy was a rookie coming from RNG's Challengers team. My God, this guy is. If I'm an RNG fan and I have Xiaohu and I'm looking at what Crying did, I am very upset. I'm very, very upset with what we could have potentially in the mid lane. Yeah, game number 2 was a complete blowout. Like, Estar looked clean. Not only did they win, they won cleanly. It's 26-9, 10 towers to 3, 2 inhibs to 0, 2 barons to 0, 4 dragons to 1. Like, Wei, Crying 8-0-12, Wink 6-0-15 on Senna. Wink also performed very well for what we've seen before from him in the LPL last split, or last summer or spring split. He definitely has improved since then and has held his own. He dominated Ziwuji, which was my main argument to picking Rogue Warriors. My gut really said, I brought it up to Ryan and Idol as when Estar won this. I'm like, man, my gut was right. I absolutely in my gut had Estar, but in the same effect, I did have my gut on OMG over JT Gaming, and that proved out to be completely wrong. So sometimes your gut's right, sometimes it's wrong. It's just an educated like gut check feeling, you know, like you always have it. It's not always right though. I really wanted to pick Estar against Rogue Warriors. I just thought Ziwuji would outperform. Like this was a perfect opportunity for Ziwuji to come back and outperform the Wink, who had really struggled in LPL games before. And he did not do that. Not at all. Game 1 and 2 between JD Gaming against OMG. Again, this was a pretty just brief one. Zoom and Yagao, pretty good. Kanavi, disgusting. Kanavi really, really stepped up. Like, way more than I expected. Loken went 8-0-4 on the Caitlyn. It was just absurd how well Kanavi has really fit in with JD Gaming. It makes sense how they got third place in Demacia Cup, obviously, but like it's carried over to the regular season as well. He's very aggressive. Think of a better Blabber, if that makes sense. Like a hyper, way overextending style jungler, but in the LPL that works. Like, to be fair, every LPL jungler way overextends. Ning, MLXG, Kanavi now, like he's from Korea, he's from Griffin, but man, he has really embraced the LPL style of jungle. Meteor, like they all go deep, but Kanavi was going real deep against OMG. And OMG Hacker looked really bad. Curse also looked pretty awful, I thought, like in most of these games. Icon was pretty much irrelevant, and SMLZ also, like just OMG in general, not good. Like I had OMG as my 8th best team, I believe, coming in, and they looked really poor to me. Like this is one of my most disappointing teams of the week so far, and they only played one game, so hopefully they improve. But man, they looked really bad against JDG. JDG absolutely crushed them. Next game is 14-4, 8-2, 1-0, 1-0, 3-1. And as you can see in the kill scores, just the bot lane of Misfortune Leona just absolutely dominated. The Aphelios again, which went 0-4 from SMLZ. Billy versus Vici Gaming. Billy won the first game, very solid, didn't lose a tower, lost 2 dragons, gave up 4 kills, but just all around complete control of the game. Billy is our one of the 2 Korean teams in the LPL, as in Korean style teams of they let you jump in on them and then they attack. They're excellent team fighters. They don't necessarily play sidelines as well like Korean teams do, but they're still excellent bread and butter team fight from LPL. They just don't go hyper aggressive outside of having Meteor does though, but the rest of them kind of play back and then they attack. Fofo also, this was his first game in the LPL. He went 2-3-10. That score, he died a lot more, but he actually was popping off really strong. I'll tell you that. Like him and Meteor had a really good dynamic in this first game. Forge looked Korean style. Ryan said Korea style team and Meteor. Yeah, Meteor is nothing like that. Meteor is. He fits that bread and butter LPL style jungle. He was molded into the LPL just fine. But yeah, I would say my biggest concern for Vici Gaming so far, and this isn't just for game 1, it's pretty much for every game so far, Forge has looked pretty god-awful. Not to throw him too far under the bus. I didn't give him the worst player of the week award. Don't worry. But he was in He was nominated. Let's just say that. Like Chieftain and Cube went 0-6 on Ornn, but Ornn another same position, kind of like Leona, where even when your team is losing, you're kind of the frontline tank, so you never escape any team fight. You know, you don't come out of any team fight looking nice. You also have to face a Fiora up top, and Fiora counters Ornn pretty heavily because most of his CC is very, very telegraphed. He has a slow charge at you and a slow ult coming at you. They might not feel slow in a team fight or situation or so, but when you're one-on-one against a Fiora and Fiora is always looking for the CC to parry, they're very slow. Let me tell you from experience on the Ornn side, it's not great. Not great. You do have a lot of damage. Ornn has a gross amount of damage, but like he can't survive that amount of healing that Fiora does, and you can't use any of your CC against her in a proper team fight until you have to bait out the thing, which is really hard to bait out. Like you can bait it out with your ult, but if you bait it out, you're just missing your ult, and you kind of didn't do anything with it. You know what I mean? So you don't have any bait. Like Cho'Gath has a few baits that you can like. I guess I just know Cho'Gath more. Maybe I just haven't played enough Ornn. I'm just trying to learn him now as a tank player because he's really, really strong. But Cho'Gath, I have a lot of baits I can do with like do the Q, but make it kind of like a little bit far away, so they'll see it on the ground and they'll just instant parry. But I have a lot more experience on Cho'Gath, I guess. Yeah, game number 2 though went to Vici. 12-11, very close game. 6 towers to 8 towers, one Baron, 4 dragons, 4 dragons to 3 dragons. Did this game? I don't remember. Did this game go? Was this a throw by? Yeah, this was the throw. This was another one of the throws with the Elder Drake. Billy got the Infernal Drake, soul, I believe, and then they completely threw it and gave up the Elder Drake to Vici Gaming because they had lost. I believe Kingin got caught out on the side lane on the bottom side of the map. They were blue side, so it was like bottom side, second tower for red. I really wish I had match history so I could show you exactly where on the map. But that's what the LPL does, which sucks because it's by far, as you know, my favorite league. So I wish that I had so much more information to talk about it. Or just to show on screen. But yeah, this game was pretty much over. Billy was looking to seal it in a 2-0. But Vici Gaming, they have that 2-1 in their blood. They always get at least one win in a game. And they stole the Elder Drake. And with the Elder Drake, Forge was able to show his highlight of the week, which was pretty much, if you look down at Billy, where's the tank? You don't see one. Neither do I. Forge full build on a how many minute game? Doesn't tell us. It was a long game, like 40 minutes. He was full build Jace. One hits pretty much all of that team with Elder Drake. You only had to do 80% of their health, so a max accelerated blast was nearly one-shotting Orianna and Aphelios. Like, legitimately, he would hit the accelerated blast, and I was sitting there like, is that going to proc the Elder Drake buff? Because that's pretty close to 20% if I've ever seen it. They're probably at like 25% HP after that. And so you just have to immediately leave. You can't do anything because any amount of poke is going to kill you at that point. And it did. Eventually, they got baited into a go-in with, I believe it was an Orianna ult. And then just no, it wasn't Orianna because Fofo instantly died. It was the only death of the game. I think it was Thresh Hook. I think they hit a Thresh Hook and they engaged on it and then they just all obliterated under the Elder Drake. Ryan said Dragon Control was robbed by the league gods so that Vici manages to go to 3 games. This is the way, absolutely. Absolutely. They did lose in 3 games though, like classic Vici. Classic Vici. They got crushed in game 3, 17-7, 9 towers to 2, 2 inhibs 0, 1 Baron to 0, 3 dragons to 2. And it was all King in on the gameplay. Fofo on the LeBlanc, 5-2-6. Jinzhao on the Misfortune of 5-1-7. So overall, Fofo, who our eyes were on for our player of the week, and he performed very well in this series. He looked very good. He looks exactly, in my opinion, what BLG needed. I wish Ryan was on last week's podcast because he made the perfect example where what the heck? Kuro was pretty much like an off-brand Xiaohu on RNG, just a slightly worse Xiaohu. And Fofo for Meteors wants to go in. Kuro wants to stay back and be safe. Fofo is going to go in with him, and that's going to create a lot more explosive dynamic for them. And I think that's really going to help Billy because that is the crucial thing they were missing last year. watch the RNG game and you're like, no, I don't see it. And I'll be like, no, when no one goes in, no one team fights. We'll get to that boring series in a bit. IG versus Dominius Gaming. It says Sino Dragon because Google never updates this stuff. But yeah, this was a very disappointing series by Dominius Gaming. Puff and Southwind played okay. There's all the Shy, Leanne, and Rookie, though, just absolutely popping off. 5-0-5, 4-0-4, 4-4. Nothing worked here. Natural got caught out a lot because Ale has a very high ego. After he's the guy that killed the Shy 3 times, solo killed him 3 times in one laning phase before when he was Ale, and he did not live to see that this time. He had a very poor performance. In game number 2, we also played the Akali. Zhao Ping also had a very terrible series. It's very disappointed with him as well. Just Gala, GA also just not great. But just all around, Dominius Gaming did not have a great series whatsoever. They were going into IG, who looks very formidable at the moment, but it was not the best series. They could have performed much, much better. They looked very sloppy on multiple fronts. Going with powerful, but even he can't overcome 3C Gaming's destiny. Oh my god, Ryan. He did, though. Spoiler alert for today. He did. Edward Gaming just absolutely crushed Victory 5. 24-1. There's a reason why we had Victory 5 as our 16th place team coming in. Nothing worked. Game 2, 25-4. Nothing worked. Nothing to talk about. EDG looked really good. Victory 5, very bad. Kind of how we predicted going into that series. What we did not... Oh, well, this game is not... Game info not available. This game, good. Because Sun and Gaming has let me down again. They always let me down. I don't like it. They always blow easy games. They win... Sun and Gaming is the most difficult team to predict. They really are. They always win games they're not supposed to. And then they'll always lose games that they're not supposed to. So it makes them very different. You just got to predict opposite, but then you look like an idiot. You're like, oh, they're going to lose to Victory 5. They crush them 2-0 all of a sudden. It's only what you predict. It's a mind game with them. You got to like outthink them on your predictions. I feel like there would be one of my worst. If I had to go back and look at every single team I predict, like we've done before, I haven't done that. I didn't do that last split. But I feel like Sunning would be like my worst team. Ryan, I don't know how good him wins, but it'll always be a 2-1 series. Yeah, Vici Gaming will always go 2-1. And like if you don't watch the LPL, is this your first year watching LPL? My first year was last year, but yeah, Vici Gaming will always go 2-1 like 80% of the time. They won't win usually. They won't win, but they'll go 2-1. They'll get you a game 1 or game 2, but they are the least clutch team in all of League of Legends. Hopefully, Coma turns that around, but. You know, we never know with Vici. Hopefully, though, they look much better. They do look much, much better. All right, we talked about this a little bit earlier today with the Khan situation, but Estar came out of game 1 blasting 22-10 in kills, 10k gold lead, 9-6 in towers, 0 inhibs to 0. Feel like that stat is incorrect. I may have only watched 13 leagues of League of Legends last split, but I feel like you need at least 1 inhib to win a game. I don't know. I've been playing for like 7 years. I don't know if I've seen a game won by 0 inhibitors unless a team surrendered, which I can tell you, FunPlus Phoenix did not surrender. They took some inhibs. I don't know the exact amount, but they took some. Okay, let you know. 3 Barons, 5 Dragons. Yeah, TN 1-6. A god-awful game on Rek'Sai. He got caught out he was the reason they lost this game. TN got caught out like 3 to 4 times in bushes, warded. Like, way behind enemy lines, going for that flank on Rek'Sai, which is fair to go on the back line because you want to get Senna because Senna's very immobile and she's always way in the back line because of her range. But you gotta make sure the bush isn't warded. This is basic 101 league. This is like, oh man. Like, at least solo queue, like, if that happens, that happens. But you're a professional, you're on the world champion team. You gotta do better than that. That was so bad. Game number 2, though, Fumbles Phoenix came back. Khan popped off again, 11-3. This is why I hate saying that Khan is a problem, because Khan has played very well in every game. TN went on his Lee Sin and was very clean, 5-3-11. Doemb went on his classic Nautilus, 3-3-15. LWX was on Aphelios, so it looked good. Pretty much everything, just standard Fumbles Phoenix game. It was just a very good game all around from them. Game 3, not so much. Not so much at all. 53K for gold, 44K for Fumble Phoenix, almost a 9K gold lead, 23-11, 10-3, 2 inhibs. That's how you do it. You actually get inhibs. 1 Baron. Sorry, I just have the hiccups right now apparently. And 4 dragons. Pretty good by what this game ended. This game ended right away. Like at the level 3 or 4, I believe. Again, I wish I had match history. I love looking at match history compared to this. This is like my least favorite thing in the world. I think I've said this a million times, but it infuriates me every time. But on the bottom side, Fumble Phoenix was blue side. No, Fumble Phoenix was red side. Sorry, Estar was blue side, and Estar went and ganked the bottom lane turret. Around like level 4, they 4-man dived it. They dived hard, but because of that, Fumble Phoenix, a very good team fighting team, and like wanted to say they are always there for their bot lane to protect them. Also brought 4 people. Turned out to give Wink a double kill and Cryan a double kill on the Rumble and Misfortune by like level 3, and all of a sudden you had 4 kills, and on your 2 carries they're ahead now. This game is GG. Like you just easily just got Rumble through his early stage. Like he's gonna get his wave clear just fine now. Misfortune has a strong early stage in general, but now her and Leona are just gonna have. And you have the wombo combo of Leona, Jarvan, Kennen, Rumble, Misfortune. That is a disgusting. If you're gonna team fight, which let's face it, Fumble Phoenix and most of the LPL do, their only way to win games is to team fight. And if you're going to team fight into that kind of wombo combo, you're just dead. That combo gets ahead, you're not going to win any games, or you're not going to win any fights, and that's exactly what happened. Everything, they have a lot of short range here with Khan, TN, Doemb, all playing melee champs. You have Kai'Sa, one of the shortest range ADCs. She can't get to the backline easily, but she's a very short range ADC. And Nautilus is like your biggest. He's also a melee champ. So you have no range going into that kind of comp where they can throw a Rumble Equalizer down on you. Jarvan and Kennen can go in with their ults. You also have Leona ult on top of that, and Misfortune. That game is lost in draft and pick ban personally, but the fact that they got 4 kills on top of that by like level 3, you've lost completely. While I was saying that, Ryan mentioned that Clement had Sunning at 6 above Billy in his power rankings. Complete mistake by Clement, I will tell you that. It's a reason I'm always ahead of Clement in our predictions. Man. Was that nope, that was that. So after that game against Estar, now all my red flags are completely going up. I'm like, what is wrong with maybe everything is completely wrong here. Maybe try what for match history? It was Twitch blocked it out. Gold.gg. Are you going to give me a virus here? I'll check it. But in the gold.gg. Oh, gold.gg. That's what I use for my stats. They have match history here? I gotta pull. I don't. It's not secure, but that's what I use for my stats. Tracker, tournaments, LPL. We'll just do something quick here. LPL Spring 2020, I think I saw there. Nope. And this we're on brand new territory here, so apologize if this takes a tiny bit. We won't go too long. Tournaments, is that it? LPL Spring. And I don't see. Here we go. This could be a possibility. This could be an absolute possibility here. Week 1, we got, where were we? Estar. Here, let's do LNG versus Top Esports. This is the next one. Okay. Let's see. Let's do a preview. That's not what I want. Whoa. What happened there? Preview. Okay. Let's do game 1. Okay. Look at this. Ryan with the clutch save for the entire LPL podcast. It's just the split. I actually know this website too, because this is exactly where I get all my stats for all my like player in the games and stuff that I did in spring. But game number 1 between Top and LNG was, we saw our very first set, and it was on Flandre. And I was like, woo, I'm so excited. I love Set personally. I think he's very simplistic, which is Leona, Cho'Gath, Malzahar, Maokai, Malphite, Nautilus, a little bit of Ornn now, Annie, Ari. I'm just naming all the champions that I can play. A bunch of Jhin as ADC, Caitlyn, Sivir. Very, very simplistic champions. My type of game. I have the mechanics of a 50-year-old. I just got the brain power to at least win some games. And the team fighting prowess. But my mechanics and outplay skill, not great at all. You'll see a lot of very bad plays by me in a 1v1 scenario. But yeah. Ryan with the Elder Smite steal the stream, exactly. Oh man, but yeah. So I love Set. I've only been able to play him with custom because my whole like friend group wants to play Set, which kind of makes me sad because I really want to play Set, and I've been trying to do some experimenting with him, and I don't have any results yet, but I'm thinking maybe a Swifty's Ghost Dead Man's Plate possible scenario because he's very slow. I haven't got to try it in a real game though, so I can't come to you with a fresh new meta. Like I'm telling you, Swain Yuumi is the most broken bot. It used to be the most broken bot lane. It's still pretty good. It's not as good as it used to be because Yumi's been completely gutted. But Swain Maokai as well. Me and Ryan tested that. That's also good. Anyway, focus. Oh, this game. Forgot about this game. They got Set. Cool. On Flandre. Great. You gave Knight Lucian. How do you give Knight Lucian? LNG. I completely forgot my notes, by the way, at work, which kind of sucks. My only note for this game was literally, you gave Knight Lucian. What are you doing? Like, Lucian is one of the strongest champions in the game right now. Tons of outplay mechanics, tons like mechanical skill. You can just snowball a game, and you put him into Rumble, who really has a pretty weak early game against range. He might have a good early game against tank, but does not have a good early game against range. And oh my god, Knight just popped off 6-1-5 on the Lucian, 313 CS. As you can tell, damage distribution as well. We also had a nice guy called 369 on the Vlad going into Set, and I guess Vlad is a pretty solid answer to Set there because I guess I don't know enough about Set yet. Like I said, I've only played on custom. He might not have the strongest early game as well because he kind of needs to. He needs to absorb damage to do damage. If Vlad's not doing any damage, Set's not doing any damage. You know what I mean? Early game, so he was able to farm freely, get a bunch of kills, do a lot of damage, as you can tell, 31k, and just all-around gold distribution here. Actually, Flandre had more of his team's gold than Vlad did, but that was because he didn't have to deal with Knight on that same team. Ryan said, compared to other recent champions like Aphelios and Kiana, the fact that says basically male pro wrestler Vi is a breath of fresh air. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't play a lot of the new champs. I do want to try Senna out, but like, a lot of the champs are so complicated for me personally. Like I've said, I have terrible mechanics. I will fully admit that. I've made it to Plat 3 years in a row off pure team fighting skill and tank playing. Like I don't play anything fun in League. I just play team fight, check. I play as my top lane, my support. I try to ward as much. I try to get over 100 vision score on support. Like just play through vision, play through team fighting, and you'll win a lot of games. But if you're telling me to go play a Kali or something like that, or like a Yasuo or a Zed or something with a lot of high skill mechanics, we're feeding like 30 kills. Game 2 though was another win for Top Esports. Top Esports win a clean 2-0, which I expected. I expect Top to be one of the best teams in the league, even though Idol does not believe that. Idol is wrong on everything. He also said Team WE is going to make playoffs this year, so let's not trust his opinion. Sorry, Idol. Knight had Zoe, popped up 5-1-7. Pretty good. I will say Fotik did not really impress me too much this entire week. He for the big hype around him being the rookie ADC. Still plenty of time. They won both series. But he got outperformed quite often. Like, not necessarily this game. He just like went 1-4 and his opponent went 0-4. But it wasn't really a strong performance by him. He was kind of Knight carrying Top Esports. Surprise of the century, I know. But Carson 369 also had a very, very good series as well. All right, let's go back to spring here. This is so cool. I'm so happy right now that I actually have some stuff to look at. How many more do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 more. We'll try and go through briefly because we're already 45 minutes in. JD Gaming versus Team WE. Game 1. Blowout. 18-5. 2 towers to 9. Yep. Just we saw Zoom on set and get a win. Loken on Varus 9-0-6. Not good via Felios there. Another loss for Felios. Felios lost a lot of games. Kanavi on the Nidalee. Is he the new Xiaopeng? He can play Nidalee as well, apparently. Only Xiaopeng could usually play him before. But man, it was just a straight blowout. Game number 2. Another blowout. Because, as you can see, Plex went 1-5. Beisheng went 0-6. I just butchered his name. I apologize. Kanavi 5-1-10. Zoom 5-0-4. Jugao 4-0-10. Loken 6-0-9. It's not a good stats to match up against, you know. Just absolutely crushing. JDG absolutely crushed both opponents they had. They weren't the strongest opponents with who I don't remember off the top of my head. OMG and Team WE. Team WE, the worst opponent in the team or in the league personally, but they took care of business exactly how they should have, which is very good. All right, woo, almost done. This was a great. If you wanted to see Korean League of Legends, of a Korean remix of League of Legends with like a side of LPL, as in no side lanes, only team fights, but team fights with no one dying. Here was your game. 18-6, kind of a blowout. LPL standards, very low kill score. This Fofo only went 3-2. Zhao Yu went on the Rumble 10-0-6. Rumble's broken. Fofo had a very disappointing game this game. I was very disappointed in him in general because I personally thought this was the game for him to pop off. He could show that he is better than Zhao Hu for sure. Like Zhao Hu being the better end of Kuro from last year. Like this is the moment for Billy to really show that they are the best slow team fighting team in the LPL, not RNG. Ryan, the time has come. The rise of true champions. Betty also did really well on the Misfortune. Went 4-1-9, which is pretty good for him. It's nice to see him getting adjusted to the LPL as well. Sorry for random ads here if I ever get them. Next game though was all about nothing. All game number 2 was all about nothing. 7-1. This game was 1-1. 34 minutes into the game. What kind of LPL am I watching when it is 1-1, 34 minutes into the game? Like what? I don't want to watch this Korean kind of style league. I want to see team fights. I want to see deaths. I want to see chaos. That's all I want to see. How did you feel here, Will? Fofo versus Betty? I was very happy to see I'm very happy to see both of them perform exceptionally well in their first few games. Or no, I shouldn't say exceptionally well. Fofo's played pretty well. But Betty's even played decent as well. Compared to Maple, how Maple has performed and how Karsa's kind of regressed a little bit. But Karsa, I still have a lot more faith in Karsa than I do Maple. But I'm glad to see they're performing really well in higher competition. But yeah, Fofo had a really good Lissandra game, actually. I thought he only did 10k damage, but he had a lot of clutch engages and a lot of CC to freeze Betty down, which is kind of disappointing on Ming not to get as many black shields out as he should have. But he really froze down Betty a lot and didn't let him ult quickly, even though he had cleanse as well. It was very nice. Excuse me. Game number 3 was all about Billy. Billy kind of just completely blew him out. He picked the Rumble instead of Zhao Hu. Yeah, the top difference in damage. I'll go back to game 2. What was that between Longshu and Kingen? Yeah, Kingen. 23k damage compared to 7k. Gangplank's OP. Always said that. I hate Gangplank. Gangplank is secretly really good in laning phase, unless you're a bruiser. I guess I only play tank, so I only know tank side. But he could just poke you down with a pistol all the time. I like that. That's annoying. It's just straight up annoying, especially with Grasp. So he just heals off it all the time, and it's empowered on you. I hate it. I hate facing Gangplank because then he gets really strong in auto lane as well. He doesn't fall off like some bruisers. Man. Kingen, though, has shown Kingen and Fofo both have stepped up tremendously for BLG. Like, this has been a great showing from them from the first 2 weeks. Meteor as well, having two much more aggressive solo laners instead of ADD and Kuro, has really shined, and I'm expecting big things. We had BLG as number 3 to start the year. You'll see soon in my power rankings where I had them exactly, but man, they are a team to be reckoned with. They were pretty decent last year. They were outside the cusp of Worlds, the same with Top as well. But man, I think they are a World's favorite team. Now, well, I guess World's favorite. Any team from China, I expect to win Worlds now, and until the meta completely changes. We haven't seen anyone yet outside China, but I'm still holding to that. Yeah, Fofo. Just look at the difference there. 21k damage, 7-0 and 8. He baited so hard in a 2v1 XLB and Zhao Hu. Zhao Hu went in with the Silas with his like stun, and he just got right in the tower at 4 minutes. Got a first blood without even burning flash. And I believe he burned Zhao Hu's flash on it as well. It was just so clean. Good overall, great start for Fofo. Very glad our eyes on is not a curse because he performed greatly. Yeah, Billy Topside is very nutty. Alrighty. Interesting. There's 57 champions picked and banned. I love this I didn't even realize about this website. Like, look at this. We get all this cool information. Nice. I might use... I'm going to still use the match history for the other one because I really like showing the map. It's easier for me to remember plays and like where they happen. I can explain it in a little more detail. But I really like all this detail and stats all over the page. It looks crazy and like a lot to begin with, but it's not bad. It's not bad. All right, we're almost an hour in, and we haven't even done anything else. So we're going to breeze through these last two really quickly here. Vici Gaming versus Dominius Gaming. Like, seriously, there's 17 teams. There's 14 games a week now. 14 games. It's crazy. Dominius Gaming, they won game 1 against Vici pretty solidly. I would say Natural performed really well in the Rennington. Zhao Wei, amazing. Zhao Wei came in for Jie in the mid lane. Zhao Wei, formerly Tua from last split. But yeah, he pulled out the Zillion mid and he just outperformed crazily on it. He was able to actually farm really well against Rumble. And then once he got that death cap, he popped off. He actually got a triple kill with the suicide bomber out the Baron pit against iBoy. iBoy was running away after it was actually initially a very good team fight win for Vici Gaming. They got 3 for 1 and then they went to the Baron and Zhao Wei just teleported back in, got a triple kill, and then the last kill he threw the bomb on himself, gave him the speed buff, and just ran iBoy down to kill him. Game of Legends is well, this is an average. They're not paying us, Ryan. We can't make it sound that good. Sponsor me, please. Then you'll get all that talk. Just like event VODs, where I always use event VODs for everything. I'm like, they would be a great sponsor. Sponsor for like 100 views. Also, yeah, 100 views on the podcast last week. Insane. We used to always get like 10, 20. Thank you very much, Nikki, for that one. Like, seriously. He helped me out a lot. Nikki and Ryan both helped me a lot with the thumbnails, and I think that was a big difference in the viewership, and I hope to continue doing that. I have to think of a thumbnail for this one, but I kind of have an idea. I'll shoot it by you, Ryan, after this. Anyway, focus up. We're way too far to be sidetracked anymore. Vici Gaming, 16-9. Good win. iBoy popped off on the Lucian. Cube. They actually came back a bit in this game. Dominius Gaming, they kind of lost this game as well. I believe Dominius again had the Inferno Drake, right? No, they did not. 5 dragons and 0. They did not have the Inferno Drake. Just all. They did in one game, and they lost. But, yeah, this game all around, good win. Good job, Vici Gaming. Game number 3, good job, Vici Gaming as well. This is the game that Dominius had they had the Cloud Drake buff. Yeah, they had the Cloud Drake, and I was like, okay, that's actually really good, because you have, Naturals does not matter really much, because he's in the cage with you, so the speed up doesn't matter. Kiana, though, that's a really strong one to get the stun, and then Cassiopeia as well. I guess Cassiopeia was, no, Gala and Mark. So Cassiopeia and Natural really didn't affect them too much. The ult cooldown, though, was really nice for Mark and Gala and all of them. But yeah, they got 11 kills. They were in this game till the very end. They were only down 7k, but man, it was all about iBoy on the 80. Or nope, I was gonna say iBoy popped off, but I guess it was Gala popping off on the damage wise. But yeah, this was Natural here. Had a phenomenal game. Zhao Peng had another terrible game. I'm very worried about Zhao Peng. He had a pretty poor summer split, after having an amazing spring split. He had an okay summer split. I won't say poor, but he had an okay summer split after an amazing spring split, and he's looked really bad in his first against IG and against Vici Gaming. It's not like Aches is a very strong jungler by any means necessary. He just looks out of place quite a bit. I hope they get better, because as you know, I love Dominions. Oh, I forgot the meme. I was going to make a meme, the one that old meme. Sorry, I'm such an old person. I turned 26 this week. but the one with the guy looking back at the other, like holding the hand of the one girl and looking back at the other girl. Like I was going to have the one girl he's holding the hand with Dominions Gaming logo on top, and then Estar with the other one. Because I'm all on the Estar train now, and my Dominions Gaming love is sinking really fast this split. I stuck with them till the very end of summer. I'm not giving them that kind of leash in this spring. If they don't perform well, they're gone to me. They're absolutely gone. Whew. last series. Hour in. Damn. I don't. Ryan said, if I talk about them because I'm just disembodied texted. I don't know what's more disappointing. Vici's breaking trends by not listening to one of Dominions thing. Yeah, it was very disappointing all around. EDG destroyed Top Esports in game 1. I was worried about this game because this game was literally thank you. It's Thursday. My birthday is January 23rd. 0123. Can't use it for any passwords. It's one of the worst password birthdays you can use. Not that you should really use your birthday for any passwords anyway. But yeah. Edward Gaming, and I was at 9-4 here. 9-5. If you remember last podcast, Idol was saying for sure I was not going to get above 60% win rate. Let's see. If I win, 71%, as I showed earlier. If I lost this, 64%. That's not above 66%. No, it is not. So this came down to one game here today, and I was freaking out, especially with the dominating performance by EDG in the first game of the series, where Knight looked terrible. Like, I'm like, oh my god, Knight does not look good at all. What is happening? Like, Karsa was getting card out, and Knight was constantly getting card out. Scout was popping off on the Diana. It was just all around gross performance by EDG, and I was like, oh no. You keep forgetting that you're older than me. Yeah, apparently I look really old, according to my coworkers as well. They thought I was in my 30s. It's the hairline, I don't have a hat on at work, so they really see the bald spot. I'm not going to show it on stream. I've shown it to some people, but I try not to show that too much on stream. I have a pretty big bald spot now. Yeah. Top Esports then came back in game number 2. Absolutely destroyed, 14-4. This series was a good series, but it's kind of like an IG series, When IG has a good series, we always see them as like a team that they do really well in a game, but then they get blown out in the next game. Then they go really well in the next game as well. Like, it's never close in game wise. It's always close, as in the T teams are very strong and either team can win. It's very very coin flippy and snowbally is the correct term I was going to use there. Where Knight again popped off on Orianna. Photic had a good game on Senna. Senna's pretty strong, actually. But yeah, they're just all around very good game. Game number 3. I've said that for the last game because I'm trying to speed it up as fast as I can here. Knight disgusting on the Victor. And again, this game was all Top Esports game. 13-4 was only a 31-minute game. They almost lost this game at Elder Drake because they took the soul. This is another situation. This is like the third or fourth situation this week in 14 games, like 14 series, where a team's about to lose a series because they took too many Drakes too quickly and they gave an opportunity for EDG to win the game. And this one was the game 2. They didn't take Elder at all. They just pushed and won. Game 3, EDG got onto the Elder Drake and actually almost took it until Knight came in and got a triple kill with his Victor. It was gross. I believe it was a triple kill. Might have been a double kill in assist. But he got 3 kills. Let's just say triple kill. And he took the Elder Drake as well with his ult. He was a disgustingly strong Victor. And all in all, like look at the damage. He did 17k damage compared to EDG's 3.9k. I knew Scout was invisible in the Pantheon when most of the team fights he did almost no damage, but I didn't realize he only did 3.9k damage. Oh my god. Yeah, The LPL meta so far: draft all team fight, out team fight. That's exactly the meta right now, and that is exactly what Top did, which is mostly the LPL meta in general. But most leagues have not caught on to that yet. We got to convert leagues. Got to convert them. Let's see. What's the summary, just real quick? Okay, it's just a bunch of everything. Knight finished 10-5. He finished 10-5 and 15, but he had 4 deaths in the first game, so he popped off after that. But yeah, that is the summary. Holy crap. That I didn't realize the LPL summaries were going to take that long. I should have known better. But man, we still got a lot of podcasts to go. I'll try and make it fast. We got about 30 minutes left. We can do that. All right. So play of the week is not this. I forgot to move it over. So we're just going to slide this over here and pretend that was very professional and totally looked like this was set up before. Exit. All right. So I don't know if sound is allowed or not. So we're just going to have it on anyway because, I don't want, if I get copyrighted, I don't want that. So we're not going to have the sound because I don't want to get a 30-minute mute on this. 17 teams. Yeah, 17 teams. And next week is only a 10 matchup week. After that, every single week is 14 games a week. Like, this is going to, LPL podcasts are going to be forever. Hey, I love LPL. I've said it a million times. LPL is my favorite league. I can talk LPL for weeks on end. Like, I can talk LPL at any point you see me. I am down to talk LPL. It's the best league to watch. It's the most entertaining. The best League of Legends. The most entertaining. And just all around, just the most, like, a lot of personalities on there as well. All right, here we go. Play of the week. This is in Dominius Gaming versus Vici Gaming. The game that just happened today. This is the game number 3. This is Natural on Camille. And he going in here to engage on Cube after Zhao Peng just got caught out in the mid lane. And then this looks kind of like he gets the kill there, which is nice. But it's a trade 1-for-1 until it's like, oh, wait a minute. He's going to die here. And then, nope, Camille shield with the passive. And then he survives barely the auto attack. I would love to know his HP. Goes over, kills Aches, which you're like, oh my god, fantastic. But now he's dead the Forge. Nope, he's out. Okay, good, because he's especially got to run because, Cube just teleported. So instead of doing that, instead of running, let's just go straight in and absolutely murder Lucian. This is 6 minutes of the game, and all of a sudden Camille just got a 3-kill change there. Like, that is absurd. And they still lost that game, unfortunately. But Natural, that is why he is so cocky, because he can make plays like that. He is a light version of the Shy. He's not the Shy level, but he has that swagger and that outperforming laning phase that very few top laners can pull off. It's so clean. It was so clean. The fact that he lived because of the Camille passive, I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. But yeah. That is play of the game, or play of the week. So let's now talk about the LPL standings briefly. Here are the standings so far this week. After week 1, we have JDG in the first place at 2-0. They actually have the tiebreaker over everyone because they went 4-0 where everyone else lost at least one game. Next, we have Top at 2-0 with a 1-game loss. Billy at 2-0. Estar at 2-0, the biggest surprise out of anyone. IG also at 2-0, so we have 5 teams still undefeated in the LPL. EDG at 1-1, Vici Gaming at 1-1. I'm gonna move this down slightly here because that was bugging me. Vici Gaming at 1-1, Rogue Warriors at 1-1, LNG at 1-1, Sunning, and then you have about 7 teams that have not won yet. The most non-Dominious thing that play, the most Dominious thing still losing that game. Exactly right. Actually, that is a very on-brand Natural play. That or dying right away to the Kennen at the beginning of that. Either one. That's what you're going to get. But Sunning, 0-1 start. LGD, 0-1 start. Victory 5, 0-1. RNG, 0-1 as well, actually. OMG, 0-1. Team WE, 0-1. And the shocker, Fun Plus Phoenix down in 16th place at 0-2, followed by Dominious at 0-2 as well. These standings are not accurate. Billy is number 1 alphabetically. Yes, Ryan, I know. You want to know the honest answer? Well, JDG actually is up there at first because they have the tiebreaker. Billy's technically second because of that, but I had them third last week, so they're just gonna stay there. I was too lazy to move them. And with that though, Ryan, I'm sorry. I'm gonna apologize ahead of time. You're gonna be disappointed in my power rankings. We're not gonna go one by one anymore for this. because we got arrows now. But these are the power rankings for week 2 for me. Top Esports has moved up to the number 1 spot. They were number 2 last week, number 1 this week because they performed really well. They had a little bit of a scare against EDG, but all around they still look like a very solid team. They moved up kind of by default with FunPlus Phoenix winning, or losing so bad and them winning. IG has leapfrogged Bilibili, in my opinion, and a few other teams, all the way from number 4 to number 2, or number 5 to number 2. IG outperformed FunPlus Phoenix tremendously. I see Puff and Southwind just absolutely popping off this quickly into their IG is very nice to see. We saw it coming. We were unsure of this quickly. We have Leanne. I think if Leanne gets a little bit more playtime, I think he'll be a big threat, and I absolutely see them as being one of the biggest threats in the league right now. Like IG looks really, really good right now. Like world championship contenders. I know we're in spring. We should be, instead of saying world champ, we should say MSI contenders. Bilibili stays at number 3. We had Bilibili way higher than anyone else. No one had Bilibili above. I sound like Trump, bro. I have Bilibili at number 3, but no one else had him at that high because I don't know why IG outperforming that last place team was so impressive. Shut up, Ryan. You are technically correct, but outperforming FunPlus Phoenix is great. Bilibili also with the outperformance against RNG was very strong. I think these top 3 are arguably the best teams in the world at the moment. Obviously, no one else has played, but I really think they are. If the LPL is the high standard of league, the highest teams in the LPL should technically be the best teams, and I can absolutely see any other team in the world, except probably like G2. Like G2 could probably hang with them, but I don't see many other teams. Maybe Kingzone or Gen G, but Gen G, not necessarily. Kingzone they popped off with, yeah. No, there was a Freaka that popped off. Gen G was the one I was thinking of, but yeah, not many teams can hang with them. No team from NA can hang with these teams. We moved JDG up all the way up to number 4. They looked fantastic this week. RNG only slightly moved down 1 spot to number 5 because they've lost to Bilibili in a very close match. I think that they're still a very solid team, especially with Betty replacing Uzi for most of spring split. That is a very good replacement. Excuse me. EDG moves all the way up to number 6. They've looked really well this split. I think that, or this week, they've looked great the whole split. Technically still true. But, I don't know. Last World's kind of showed that G2 probably can't hang. Yes, technically right, Ryan. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. But if you had to pick a team to hang with LPL teams, I think if G2 had enough practice in the LPL and got that experience against faster teams, they could be right up there. Man, if G2 could transfer the LPL, they'd probably be one of the best teams of all time. But yeah, they just don't get enough experience against fast-paced League of Legends, which is the way to play. Because Europe and the rest of Europe outside of G2 kind of sucks. Just like NA, all of NA kind of sucks. Liquid's okay. Fnatic's okay. We'll see about the rest. LNG dropped from number 6 to number 7 for me. Still respectable. Still much higher on my list than most people's lists. We'll give them... This is a litmus test, though. They played well. They lost against Top, who we have as number 1. So we can't really fault them too much for that. But they won their game that they were supposed to win against LGD, but they also dropped the game. So they're up at number 7 at the moment, but they could drop pretty soon. Like, they're up there, but they got to prove that they want to stay up there for me. FunPlus Phoenix, I dropped to number 8. Losing to Estar was unacceptable. They lose to IG, they might, and beat Estar handily, they might still be number 1 with IG2 top. Like, I might have to drop Bilibili at that point. Like, they maybe, it depends on the situation, but they would still be a top 4 team for sure. Losing to Estar dropped them all the way down to 8th for me. Lots of issues with their team chemistry, it seems like, that they just not, we've talked about it too much already this podcast, but hopefully they can rise back up. The Phoenix rises, you know, but got to perform much better. Got to use this Chinese New Year to practice a lot. I don't know how many days off they get during this, but they might want to cut a few of those days off to practice more. Estar moved all the way up to number 9 for me. Like, you're like, hey, why is Estar below FunPlus Phoenix? I've gotten this comment before on multiple other years or multiple other splits on depends. It doesn't matter what thing. Thing is, dropping from 1 to 8 is a 7-man drop. I don't know if I've dropped any specific team 7 spots before. That's a lot of spots to drop. I think I might have dropped 100 Thieves that much before. But Estar also went up 7 spots. That's a big jump already. And if you're going to tell me straight up, I have to pick my team. I own a team in LPL. You get to face in one best of 3. Fun plus Phoenix or Estar. I'm still taking facing Estar 9 times out of 10. So Estar is still in number 9 and improved greatly, like way beyond anyone else's expectations. They do face Billy in the upcoming week, so it's gonna be tough to test that. I think that's okay if they lose. I'm okay with that still. It's the week following up where I believe they face DMO and Sunning in week 3, and that's the real test for them. If they can win those games, I think they are definitely better than the below playoff teams, and they can fight for a playoff spot. Ryan said, by the way, in honor of the Super Bowl, invoking NFL memes, Estar are who we thought they were, but Fun Plus Phoenix let them off the hook. I love that meme. Sad that guy died. I love that meme. That's one of my favorite ones. We are who they thought they were. Who we thought we were. Oh. VG Gaming moves up to number 10. Very, very strong performance against Dominions Gaming. Little sloppy, but they look much better than VG of old. Let's just say that. There's nothing wrong with what we've seen from VG this year compared to what we've seen in previous splits. They're still going 3 games, but now they might actually win a few of them. Instead of winning like 1 or 2 throughout the year, they might actually win like 4, 5, 6, 7. You might see actually maybe a 50-50 record here. Rogue Warriors also went up at 11. They lost to Estar, which was very poor performance, but then they beat Sunning. They looked solid against Sunning. It did not look good against Estar, but maybe Estar is the shining sun that Dominius was in Spring Split last year. OMG, Sunning, and LGD and Dominius all fell. I think we all know the reason. They all performed poorly. They weren't all the highest rank here. Before that was OMG for me at 8th, and then I believe had Sunning 10th and Dominius 11th, and like outside of that, and they all performed poorly, so they all dropped. Dominions dropped the furthest down the 15th, and Victory 5 and Team WE performed very terribly this week, surprise to no one, and they also went down, or they stayed the same, because I still think by far those 2 teams are the worst teams in the league. 3G Gaming should be 9th because 3 times 9, 3 is 9. Yeah, well, sure. But I'm not moving them above Estar, and I'm not dropping Fun Plus Phoenix to 10th. Maybe LNG, but they won a series, so I can't really fault them if they went 1-1 to start the year. All right, so that's the power rankings for the split. Do you like it, by the way? The arrow, I don't know if you can notice it. I shouldn't tell you guys this. The green arrow I just found on Google, but you have to like pay $2 for it. I just saved it. save right click, save image as. But then they have like watermarks, so you can't really like change it at all. So I went into paint, and that's hand brush paint, all the red on there, like slightly painted it, and then I just flipped it 180 degrees and put it that, because I realized when I got the green arrow, they didn't have a red arrow, and I'm like, well, the arrow should probably be the same style, or else it's gonna look bad. And I liked how the green arrow worked compared to the other ones I was looking on Google. So that was that hint. This also just showed up from me looking up a yellow bar. I got it. Very simple. All right. The big award for our Lord and Savior Big, who is unfortunately not on a team. He has ascended past League of Legends. He is better than any other League player. The big award this week for LPL is Cryan. And Cryan on Estar had a 9.9 KDA, which I got all these stats from that website. A KP kill participation percentage of 79.6%, almost 80% of his team's kills he was a part of this week. He had 25.3% of his team's damage, a DPM of 548.1 per minute, and pretty much just all around pure domination. He dominated Rogue Warriors, but not only that, like sure, most teams are probably going to dominate Rogue Warriors this split. He dominated Fun Plus Phoenix as well, and Doinby, and he absolutely showed up when his team needed him. He performed. He had one of the best performances I've seen. Like, he put his name on my radar. Like, I had heard about him, I guess, a little bit. Like, oh, this is the RNG mid laner. Like, I've heard RNG fans upset that they lost him instead of having Xiaohu. People wanted to bring him up to start him. So, like, I'd heard that. But, like, outside of that, I hadn't really heard much. So having him perform this well in week 1 is like his name is in my head now. Like I am super excited to watch him play and hopefully develop properly. Nice, but at that point, why not make it from scratch and paint using sharp shapes? Yeah, I could have done that, but I didn't, Ryan. So, where were you like 7 hours ago? Again, you're always late to these things. Big not available in fantasy is the biggest travesty this week. Absolute, I 100% agree with you there. Petition to claim the Estar mid is crying. For those, because Ryan's chat isn't on the thing anymore. He spelled crying as Cryan. You don't get that petition yet. Not yet. You gotta be as dedicated to Estar as you are as Billy. Boomer Award for the week. I love that name. TN. TN. What are you doing, man? I didn't, stats don't really explain. I don't want to pick someone necessarily because they have poor stats. So I removed the stats from this list because sometimes you can have poor stats, but you perform well. There were games where the Shy was 1-6, but he was getting camped 3 times. He's getting 3-4-man dived on cooldown, on alt cooldown. So it's really, sometimes stats don't tell the whole story. If you go back and watch Fun Plus's Phoenix's series against IG and Estar, yeah, TN looked really bad. It was probably the reason they lost most of those games. Probably 3 of the 4 games they lost was TN's fault. And it was mostly because he was standing in bushes. Wait, look at this. No, why do you give a black bar there? Okay, look at this isn't even the same game. Oh, you can't see my screen. Never mind. I still had the Dominions highlight up, but I was going to show the map. But he basically was always standing in a isolated bush in the river or the bushes right by the base, trying to get the flanks. And every time he flanked, he failed. He never checked the bush. It's like he almost never checked. He never used his trinket or his sweeper to make sure everything was okay. And that cost his team a lot of engages. When you're engaged, you're the engage, and you die before the engage starts, your team's not going to win many team fights, especially in the LPL. So yeah, TN, I never thought I would say TN is going to be the first boomer of spring 2020. But TN is. He is. And man, he's one of the best, in my opinion, number 1, number 2 jungle in the world with Tarzan. So this is quite stunning to see already him be the worst player of the week. All right. Whew, we're an hour 16 in. Oh, we got this. We only got 2 more slides, people. Stay with me. Predictions. This looks a little bad. I'm sorry. This is the only week that doesn't have 14 games, so I didn't change. All right here, over to the right, is invisible. There's 20 images all around here of different teams and everything that I just made invisible as I was moving everything around. Pulling the curtain back again. But game number 1 this week is RNG versus Team WE. This one does not require much critical thinking. RNG performed, they are 0-1, so is Team WE, 2 0-1 teams. Much different scenario. Team WE got completely blown out against their opponent, while RNG had a very tough match against Billy, and they performed pretty admirably in it. Unfortunately, though, they did not win, which is okay. That happens sometimes in games that you are really close with your opponent. So I think that our RNG, especially with their bot lane and Betty, this is another great time for him to show that he can belong in the LPL. I think just RNG in general, this is a much easier free low type of game. Team WE is the worst team in the LPL for sure. That's why I've picked RNG. No surprise. IG as well against OMG. OMG, very disappointing week 1. Can they bounce back? I don't know. It's a very tough opponent to bounce back against. OMG starts 0-1, but unfortunately, they do not actually. I do not see them bouncing back against IG, who looks like they are out with something to prove. So unfortunately, this is not going to work too well. But OMG, that is a grayed out OMG there. I picked IG for the second pick of the week. Dominions Gaming versus Rogue Warriors. Can Dominions Gaming bounce back? And by the way, these games I will pull up here. I don't know the exact day. We won't be having the LPL podcast because these games start, I'll let you know, in February 5th is when these games start. So don't expect tonight to start watching the games or something like that. They don't start for another 7, 14, 15, 16, 17 days until these games actually start. So we're not going to have a podcast for the LPL for the next 2 weeks. But yeah, we got Dominions versus Rogue Warriors here. And Rogue Warriors coming off a 1-1 start. Not terrible. I'm going to move that down a little bit. Not terrible. The loss to Estar was kind of shocking, but it looked a little bit better once Estar actually beat FunPlus Phoenix as well. That loss did not look as terrible for Rogue Warriors as it initially did. Dominions Gaming, on the other hand, losing 2-0 to IG looking bad and losing 2-1 to Vici Gaming. Not looking great at all this series, neither did Vici Gaming personally. But I think Summer me picks Dominions every way because I'm like, this is a perfect game for Dominions to bounce back. I don't see it this year. I'm not as sold on Dominions Gaming as I was before. Like, they're not there for me anymore. I don't feel that that attraction that they're gonna do it. I feel this team is good. I think Rogue Warriors and ZWuji come back after their loss against or I guess they won against Sunning, and they continue a win streak there after beating Sunning 2-0. I think they beat Dominions Gaming. Probably 2-0, maybe 2-1. But Gala's played pretty well. Naturals played okay. Depends on the game. Mid laner, GA and Zhao Peng's played poor. And Twilla, I don't remember his name off the top of my head, his new name. But Twilla and GA have played bad. And Zhao Peng has also played bad. So Naturals 50-50. Gala and Mark have played solid, though. So hopefully Gala and Mark can carry them for my sake, as a fan. But I really don't, as an analyst predicting it, I think Rogue Warriors with ZWuji is going to be able to isolate Gala and Mark. And if they're not performing well, the rest of Dominion is not going to perform well. JDG versus Victory 5. Very easy. JDG... that's not correct. There we go. Let's gray that out a little bit better there. Okay. But JDG 2-0, 4-0 total. Technically the best, only team undefeated in games so far. Looking great. They stomped on weaker opponents with Team WE and OMG, but they have another weak opponent with Victory 5. So they're getting all their weak opponents out of the way early, which could be a good morale boost, but it also could be riskier down the line when you're in a clutch scenario and you're facing teams like RNG and all that. Like, it might be a little bit tougher, but I think they'll be just fine against Victory 5, and they'll probably start the year 6-0 after a solid first 2 weeks. Ryan said Dominions made me meh. But is anyone on RW Rogue Warriors capable of punishing? Yeah, I think ZWuji is absolutely capable of punishing there. Also, is OMG supposed to be grayed out because it looks like a second logo just got layered slightly off center? Yeah, the layering for some reason it looks like got off center somehow. Like I've noticed it with Victory 5 and Team WE up there. Somehow in the post-production process when I was doing this, I might have moved all of them by accident and it was just slightly off. But yeah, OMG is supposed to be great out there. It's the best I can do with some. OMG, IG, and EDG are the worst 3 teams for this. They're all black and white. Yeah. Vici Gaming versus LGD. Vici Gaming coming off their win against the Minius Gaming. LGD coming off a loss against LNG. And I think that Vici Gaming, this might be another 2-1. There is potential here. This team absolutely is going to be the biggest bust or biggest success, I think. This is the coin flip team of the split for me. I don't really know where to put them. They always scare me to pick, but also at the same time, I feel like some new energy here. Like I was pretty decently hyped on Vici Gaming for summer split and spring split because they always brought teams to game 3. I always told you guys last split they needed to find something like that clutch element in game 3, and then they could actually be a good team. I think having a new coach, having new players as well, some new players, I think they might get that clutch element. So I'm picking them over LGD because frankly LGD is not that great to me. They're one of the worst teams in the league, so the Vici Gamers should definitely be able to beat them. Whew. Billy versus Estar. Billy is coming off a tremendous week, beating RNG and Vici Gaming, while Estar is coming off the biggest upset of like a regular season in a long time, with beating not only Rogue Warriors but the world champions of FunPlus Phoenix. So both these teams are 2-0 going into this game. I really think Billy is going to be able to handle them properly, and that's not just saying because Estar I don't trust them. I think the issue was that Fun Plus Phoenix kept trying going in and in and in and in and in on Estar, and Estar always was able to counter Fun Plus Phoenix's engages by just having a better team count. Billy is not going to take a risky move like that. Billy wants you to come in on them. And when you come in on them, then they team fight. Them and RNG are the only two teams in the LPL that really do that. And I think that the issue is going to be, so the pressure is going to be on Estar to start the engages. And that's going to be much different than what we saw them when they faced Fun Plus Phoenix. And I think that that's actually going to bite them a bit. I don't think they're going to be as experienced, and they're not going to get as many, they're not going to be able to snowball the lead as much against Billy as they were able to against Fun Plus Phoenix, because teams like Fun Plus Phoenix and IG, they die hard. Like, they go down fast when they're losing, because they're going to go keep fighting you. Even if they're down 5k, they're going to keep fighting you. So if you keep beating them and you keep increasing your gold lead, they're just going to get worse and worse, but they're going to keep fighting. Where Billy plays more back, like, okay, we're not going to engage, we're going to try and farm up, we're just going to try and play much safer, and I think that will prevail for Billy. I think they actually 2-0 Estar here, and I think they're going to do just fine starting the season 3-0. Man, my grays really did. They moved like 3 pixels to the right, it looks like, on all of them. Ryan's babe versus Will's new boo. Oh, man. Dude, I'm the worst when it comes to LPL, because huge IG fanboy, huge Fun Plus Phoenix fanboy. Dominious Gaming is my love-hate relationship. I love Billy. I love Estar now. I want to like Sunning, but they make it very difficult. I love Top Esports and Knight. I just love the LPL in general. There's a lot of teams I just absolutely love. We don't need to talk too much about this. IG versus Team WE, which is a great amount now. Team WE, the worst team in the league. IG looking like the best team in the league. That's going to be an easy 2-0. Team WE has nothing they can do to handle IG. In before. Team WE beat IG last split, technically. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. They don't have Mystic now on the team. They're much different and much worse. This actually is my game of the week here between RNG and EDG. Billy and Estar could be, but I think we're going to see a little bit of regression from Estar this week. But next week we might see it jump back up. But RNG versus EDG, we have EDG being very explosive this year. I didn't like EDG too much last year. I never liked a lot of what they were doing. But this year I like with Juju as their jungler. I'm really intrigued by him a lot. Will changes the relationship status with Dominious Gaming too. It's complicated. I did. We're on the brink here. We're on the brink of breaking up. We're seeing. I'm asking Dominious if we can see other people. RNG is. Oh man, I just think RNG is going to outperform EDG, because my worry here, personally, I think EDG is very strong. It's my Flash Wolves love, man. I think Betty against Hope in the bot lane. Hope performed really well, but I really want to see Betty perform remarkably well against Hope here and get a lot of confidence for RNG. I see that. I kind of see that happening. EDG though, Scout and Juju is or is it Juju? I believe it is. I don't remember exactly, but the jungler I performed really well. So we'll see if that mid jungle synergy, which is very vital right now, actually performs for EDG to outperform RNG. That is very possible. XLB on RNG's actually performed pretty well himself. So it's going to be close. I think it's going to be very close. But I think it's going to be 2-1, and I think it's going to be RNG as the victors. Fun Plus Phoenix versus LNG. Oof. Fun Plus Phoenix here. 0-2 coming in. LNG kind of looks shaky. 1-1 though. They did secure a win, but they secured it against LGD in a 3-game series, which you don't really want to go 3 games against LGD. I think personally, with Khan or Gimgoon, I think Fun Plus Phoenix have to bounce back. If they play Khan again and Khan pops off, but the rest of the team like Tien, Doinby, and Crisp start to suck, I think you have to make the switch just to be sure. Because your next game for Fun Plus Phoenix after that, it's going to be against JDG, which is a very important game to win, because that's going to be a tough game. So if you put Gimgoon in and then all the cylinders start working again, then okay, maybe Khan doesn't come in unless Kim Gun has a poor performance. Like, it sucks because that was your big offseason move. But if the team synergy is just not, they can't get it together, you got to act fast in the LPL because 0-4 start against JDG. Who's the next team they face? OMG. Okay, that's a possible one. But if you start 0-4, we had this with Dominions last year where they started 1-7 and got so close to making playoffs because they started out strong, or they finished very strong, but they just didn't have enough time. Like, you only play each team once. Like, you play 16 series, one against each team. So anytime you lose a series to a team, you have lost that tiebreaker for the year. Estar has the tiebreaker over FunPlus Phoenix for the rest of the year. IG has the tiebreaker over FunPlus Phoenix for the rest of the year. Every single series is so important, especially when it comes to playoff spots. So I do have FunPlus Phoenix, but I'm really worried that if it doesn't work out, like, this is a 0-4 start for FunPlus. If they can't beat LNG, they're gonna start 0-4. If Khan starts every game and FunPlus Phoenix lose to LNG, is Khan just cursed at this point? To me, it's yes and no. To me, you're seeing a difference. It's not a curse as much as he's on the wrong teams. He's on teams that do not play the top side. He's on teams that play the bot side. If he's on a team like IG, he probably performs pretty well like the Shy. If he's on a team like Top Esports, like that, he probably performs well because they also perform to top and mid. They always go for 3-6-9, and he's just on the teams that perform bot side, but he's an aggressive top laner that needs like jungle attention, so it messes with the team synergy a bit. So it is a curse in a sense like that, but I think he's picking the wrong teams to join. Like, he's picking teams with different philosophies than his own at the game. Finally, last game, because we are an hour 30. We want to try and keep these to an hour 30 at max, but LPL's a big league. Top versus Sunning. Sunning has been a disappointment. Top, I think, has performed pretty well. They had struggled a little bit against EDG in that first game, but outside of that, they've looked very strong. So I am easily going to pick Top here. No worries, except the only worry is now that I picked against Sunning, Sunning always wins. I hate Sunning. I want to love you guys on Sunning, but I hate you. You always go against my picks all the time. So if Khan joins Dominions, they win LPL. Got it. Yep, that's exactly it, Ryan. That was the exact point I was trying to make there. Oh, man. But yeah, so those are the predictions for the week. I think they are, hopefully, so there's 10 games, so I need to win at least 7 to keep that 70% win rate above, because if I only win 6, that's only 60%, and that would be below. We're trying, like I said, we're trying for the 75%, so I'm kind of hoping for 8, because if I get 8 games, I think I'm at 75% exactly on the year. Somewhere similar to that. But we won't do the math because we're already at an hour 31. But here we go. Players, eyes on. Player of the week to look for is Betty. RNG Betty, this week he has to face, we just mentioned it, he has to face Team WE, which should be a pushover, so he should be blowing people up on that bot lane without Mystic on that team. There should be no question that Betty pops off. That should be, he's facing an LMS style, a low tier LMS style bot lane, and we've seen what he can do against that when on his time on Flash Floss. And then he's facing EDG, who lost iBoy and I have hope as their ADC now. I think this is a big chance to prove that he can perform against higher level teams as well. So he has a bad team to face that he can pop off against, and a good team to face that he can pop off against in a weaker bot lane side, where it's more the mid and jungle that are a stronger duo. So I'm really interested to see if Betty's going to be able to pop off in both these games, or both these series. I think he'll have a phenomenal week. So far, our Eyes On curse isn't actually like the real Eyes On, as Fofo had a really good week. So let's hopefully keep it going. I would appreciate that. Ryan said, I would offer Jackie Love as the Eyes On player for the week, but it's kind of hard considering he's still cosplaying Twitch and staying invisible. Hey, Jackie Love was Eyes On player last week because I forgot to make an Eyes On player until off the top of my head I just picked Fofo. And Fofo played really well. But yeah, so with that though, I think that is going to be it for tonight's podcast. Thank you so much for coming, Ryan. I really appreciate your sidebar. You're basically in the sidecar here commentating. Yeah, I think this week we will. Ryan won't be here, I believe, for Tuesday, which we will do our first LCS podcast. We will be doing Wednesday. We'll be doing our first LEC podcast. We don't do the Korean podcast yet because they don't start until February 5th. and that would have been Monday. And then Thursday, we are doing our first wildcard podcast as the CBLOL, the Brazilian league, actually starts this week as well. I don't have that podcast slide set yet. Probably going to have to do that on Martin Luther King Day. By the way, Flash Wolf's monopolizing Eyes On. Hey, Fofo was on there first. He wasn't Flash Wolf's. Oh, man. But yeah, that will be it for this week. Thank you guys so much as well for watching the podcast last week. We usually... on our best podcast ever was 75 views, but like on average on YouTube we would only get like 5 to 10. This week we got like 140. So I think the thumbnail really worked. Hopefully you guys liked it. You new viewers here possibly. Hopefully you stick around. Maybe not just for LPL, but for the other regions if you're interested. And we'll see you all split. See you guys Tuesday for LCS week 1. Who's gonna be on top, especially with the visa issues? Sorry, LMS. Yeah, LMS is the Eyes On. LMS is absolutely monopolizing Eyes On, Ryan. All right, good night. See you guys Tuesday.